interactions with people who were my close family and were very negative, violent, lonely. I was real withdrawn. I was real hyper, probably disruptive. There probably was something seriously wrong with me mentally. I'm not retarded. I wasn't retarded, but I was very much traumatized and probably acting out the pain that was inside me.
I grew up house to house, home to home, state to state. Never had a stable grounding of security. Grew up wanting love, needing love, trying to find love, and I found love in the streets. A lot of my friends. And because I was looking for that love, I turned against a lot of things that I believed in and became an alcoholic, drug addict, searching, but never finding anything but loose ends in prison.
Both my parents were alcoholics. My father was a Portland police officer, as was his father. Growing up, there was a sense of law and order, or that I thought. When I was 7, I started seeing some things. He would bring us different stuff. And he'd bring boxes of stuff back to the house. And weird people would be coming to the house with stuff that, as I grew up, I realized was stolen. And yet here's a Portland police officer involved in this. I grew up thinking that, how am I going to get his attention?
Lots of confusion, growing up in two different worlds, growing up in the dominant society world, but yet trying to live in your own world too as a Native American, not knowing, not understanding what life was beyond your own family as far as violence and chaos and alcoholism.
I was raised on a farm, the only boy of 7 children, had a very, very normal childhood. Grew up in a small town with small town values.
Grew up in a small town, then moved to Portland. Had a little brother, a little sister. I had a very abusive childhood. Was abused by my father. I used drugs abusively from the age of 11 on. I was a smart kid until I started using drugs. I did a lot of things in school that were good for me, and then once drugs came into play, it was my downfall. That and the neighborhood I grew up in.
My father, he never had anything to do with my life, so I never had a father to call dad and actually mean it. I had substitute fathers in my life, people that I didn't respect, who really didn't respect me because they were more into my mother and more into what she had to offer than her child. So I really never had a father and developed a hardcore attitude because I knew I had to be the man in my house. I knew I had to be a man at a young age. And I ended up